Hello, Serge here from the back porch. I'm going to stay on this power and distance subject we've been on for a while because I'm getting some unbelievable responses in terms of from the blog that people are putting up there in terms of things they've realized about the swing and their suggestions as to what could help me and all of you. And I have another great one here, and this one comes from Golf Bass, and he originally ends up signing it Gary Adams. So Gary, again, I love some of the things you said, and that's why I'm going to present it today. So Gary starts out by saying, I converted to the Surge swing about 2 months ago. I had troubles with distance prior to the swing conversion. In my practice sessions, I have noticed that the limited turn golf swing demands solid contact to achieve distance. Now, that's with any swing, with any club. It's obvious, you all know the term, that to hit a good golf shot, the club has to approach the ball on the aiming line, strike it on the line and be square, leave on the line accelerating, and hit it solid in a sweet spot while doing the first three. And so on and on goes for every club in the bag, from the putter to the driver, and solid is the most important because we know if we miss the sweet spot, whether we hit on the toe or the heel, that means we're not hitting it with the so to speak, with the power of the club behind it, that all the weight where it is, where the sweet spot is. And number two, the face can twist, which is going to cause the ball to get side spin and fly offline, whether it be a draw or a pull, and go less far. And it usually goes less far when things go crooked rather than straight, as compared to getting the straightest distance between 2 points is a straight line, or the shortest distance is a straight line. And so solid is with every swing and with every club. So Gary went on to say, I know when I hit a good drive by the sound of the face. That's why it's so important. Sound's important. That's another reason why I believe, in some psychologists that I've talked to agree with me, if you want optimum practice in playing, don't be listening to music or whatever when you're playing, when you're practicing, and because it's destroying the fact you don't hear the ball, the sound of contact, and that's important. Not only the sound of the ball in the club, but the club to the ground. And so we want to hear those things because it's a part of the senses. The more senses you use, the more powerful the feedback. I have also hit the 150-yard drives, but I also realized my flaws in my swing path. All right, so Gary's talking a little bit about what he's realized in just the short 2 months he's been with the Surge swing, and the things what's good and things that affect him from hitting the ball better. And now he goes on to make a really good suggestion to all of us. I would make sure that you're properly fitted for a driver as a suggestion. Agreed. We've talked about most drivers, I think, today are much too long for most players, including tour players, when you're playing with 45 and 46-inch drivers. And I think 44 should be the max for more people, if not shorter. I swing, my drivers for years have been 43, 43 and a half, and now I'm using some of my 3-wood. And I just recently coined a phrase, hybrid 3-woods and 4-woods and 5-woods and hybrid drivers. Everybody says they hit the hybrids better. Well, why not make all the other the real woods 5, 4, 3, and driver a little bit shorter, and I'll bet you're going to hit them more solid and straight, and that's going to make it longer. So he's saying get the drivers checked. The other thing I would try to focus on is the slight bump in the hips on the follow-through, which is triggered by the image of skipping rocks. So this came about, a lot of these power comments, power and distance comments came about of those couple of videos where we talked about skipping rocks and then the underarm side-arm pitcher. So I just want to say that the concept of skipping rocks, creating the bump, is I've mentioned many times. I do my fine top and backswing test. That's where I put my bell. But we know that when I ring my bell, my arms carry on a little farther, go a little bit farther, and then with the lower body running away from the upper body, that gives us all the stretch and all of these muscles from the legs right on up through your hips and into your back, and then right on down your arms. And when that club's going that way and this goes this way, there has to be a winner. This is going to win, so it snaps the arms down, and then I just swing it, hit it, accelerate impact, and swing through. Now, but I want to finish this one up with a story, and this is to me, the story that I can say here is probably is based 100% on fact. I once had a student named Tim, and Tim was a little bit bigger than me, worked out a lot, and was just an avid student of the swing. And he used to, when he came for golf lessons, he'd come for usually 2 days at a time, and he would bring his own camera and film me, and then he would go home and study and put his swing on one VCR and my swing on another and go back and forth. He had it memorized so much that if I saw him swing, I thought it was me. It was that good. But despite the fact that Tim was a little bigger than me, a heck of a lot stronger than me, and he had 3 to as much as 5 miles per hour more club head speed than me, he could never outdrive me, and he could never hit an iron as far as I hit him. And why? Because I was hitting it nice and solid on the sweet spot, and he was always a little bit towards the toe. Now, we racked our brains to figure this out, and one day I finally figured it out. And what triggered me to give this thought was Gary talking about learning to bump. Well, we went over more things with Tim about what happened, and one day I asked him the big question. I said, Tim, just tell me that when you bump, how far does, say, your belt buckle or your belly button move when you bump from where it was at the top of the backswing? And he did this thing, and he said, oh, it goes about at least 4 inches. I said, well, there's the problem. That's why you're hitting the toe. I said, your bump's going too far. You're getting so far ahead, you can't square the club up. And so by the time you come in, the club is already coming a little inside the line, and there's your toe hits. So I said, naturally, a lot of times when I need to think about the golf swing, I just do it myself, or do something that a student's doing, and I start feeling what my body's doing. That gives me the answer as to what to cure. And so when I did that, I could see that my head and the hands are coming slightly outside and in, and hitting the toe, because I'm so far ahead it doesn't square up, and it's slightly inside. So I said, we have to slow it down. It's only when I bump, mine only moves about 1 inch, 2 at the max, my belt buckle. We quieted that down, and the next thing you know, from that day on, I never could hit the ball farther than Tim with any club. He was smoking his drives by me by 10 yards or more all the time, and was down to a point where he was almost one complete club longer than me with any iron. So once we got that straight, he got his distance back, because that shows you how important solid is, and an online solid contact. On, square and solid. That's the laws of physics. I didn't make that up. That's the way God created that. You had to swing and hit the ball if you wanted to maximize power and distance and accuracy. And so we got to get back to on, square and solid, and how important solid is. And you notice in every one of these comments about power and distance, you out there, Surgites who've been thinking about it, studying the swing, thinking about it, and practicing it, have all figured out how important it is to hit it solid, because you always hit better shots when it's solid. They sound better, they feel better, and they go better. Okay, well, that's it for the Surge for today, and I'll be talking to y'all soon.